record sessions with an agenda that's inflexible. I'm always willing, you know, if someone feels strongly about something, let's do it.
It doesn't sound like we're two old guys sitting on the lawn to get off the sidewalk, but when I talk about that, the upcoming generation is, our generation is always about working with, you've been mentored by the previous generation and working aside or having them work on your projects. You see that with your kids and also kids of the upcoming generation?
My kids are my students.
Your students?
My biological kids?
Well, you're right. It's pretty young to play.
They're
what, 5 now?
okay, my students. No, 11 and 8.
Oh my God. Lost track of life.
With my students, it's complicated. I guess, you know, the duty though is you know, is really on people of our age now,
Right.
to be the mentors.
I remember saying that.
You know, because we had people that showed us the way and are still showing us the way, but unfortunately, you know, time marches on, and there will be a point when they're not around, so someone has to keep transmitting this information and showing people what's important,
That old tradition.
or what you feel. It really comes down to what you feel strongly about. You have a passion, you play your instrument, you have, you know, ideas about how to make music that you feel strongly about, and usually if you present it with your love and your passion, some youngsters will hear it and be able to respond to it.
Eric, that said, you know what, something we've talked about for years, especially with your curriculum, you're doing something that most people don't do when teaching kids jazz. You don't separate culture from the music. You put it together in terms of
Absolutely.
teaching. Now, a lot of folks don't do that. Why is it so important to make sure when you teach jazz, you teach just not about the music, but the culture with the music?
Well, I've never been asked that question before, so I don't have a response.
Oh, no, it's just like,
yeah, it's complicated, but you know, music is just a reflection of life and of your experiences. So, you know, we're going back to,
yeah.
you know, ancient Greece, but Plato said, you know, music expresses things that can't be expressed with words. So, things that are going on, things that we experience, aspects of our culture, positives, negatives, you know, struggles, joys, all those things, you know, they're expressed through words and through hearing stories from people, but music gives you a perspective that, like Plato said, it goes beyond words, and in a way it's deeper. I mean, I think music, in a way, if you talk to most people, and you say, you give them a choice, like, I'm going to take away everything from you. Like, you know, things that you enjoy outside. Okay, you need food, you need water, you need air, you need to be able to sleep. Okay, those are the basic needs. They talk about the things that you enjoy. The bottom line, most people, of all the arts or all the things that they could enjoy that are outside of their basic human needs, music is the thing that they rely on the most. That, you know, defines their experiences, you know, makes them remember a day in their life or something, you know, their girlfriend from high school. It's very important to people, even more than the visual arts. I think music really, it has a very special place in you know, the human psyche. So it's intertwined. You can't separate it.
Last question, we would be remiss. Obviously, you mentioned that Harold Mabler. Talk about your time with Charles Earl and what you learned from him. As Harold mentioned that you learned your blues phrase.
He always says
from
that.
Charles.
He always says.
Well, what's your take on it?
Well, it could be true. This is what I will say. A lot of things, they say things in life happen for reasons. I'll try to make this as short as possible. I didn't know who Charles Earl was. A friend of mine in college played me a record by Charles called Mama Roots. It's a Muse recording. George Coleman's on there. Wilbur, is it Wilbur Campbell? You know Paul. Is it Wilbur Little? No, I think Wilbur Campbell's on there. Okay. Anyway, I already love George Coleman as a concert. He plays this recording. Wow, what is that? Because they play old folks. A masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece. Who is that record? It's Charles Earl. So then he starts playing me more stuff. Wow, this guy's incredible. So I'm in Chicago, and I hear through a friend that, you know, Charles Earl is hiring a new band because he had a heart attack and he was in semi-retirement, and then the band fled, doing other things. So I said, well, what the hell? I'll audition. So I went to his house, auditioned, got the gig, which was extremely frightening, by the way. Look, I think it was the second gig we ever did together. Was here in Rochester.
Ben Keith's
Keith's
place.
place. I sat there.
A giant room. It was Thanksgiving. Right?
BK's Lounge, right?
Okay. November of 1991, my mother had just been diagnosed with colon cancer. So I was here under duress, like freaked out.
Yeah.
We didn't have a good crowd. I remember that. It was a huge room, the crowd was small. And I was thinking, oh my God, you know, I'm playing with Charles Irwin, and the crowd is small. And I think it was snowing, it was cold,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was thinking, what are we gonna do? Is he just gonna phone it in, cancel the gig? He played like a 2.5-hour set. He was sweating, and he was pumping it up so hard. He was pumping it, he was, you know, at Vatican City, he was the Pope, right, playing for 10,000 worshipers. I couldn't believe it, and that's just a small example of the kind of experience I had with him night after night after night. You know, you drive 10 hours, exhausted. Maybe the club's back, maybe it's not. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the bandstand is sacred, full force. You know, put your heart and soul into it. So I learned a lot from him in that respect. But Harold's the same way, you know, and the other people that I consider my big mentors, you know, Pat Martino, of course, George Coleman, they always give 100%. You know, they have more energy than all the young guys on the stage.
Speaking with Eric Alexander, the brand new album is entitled Touching on High Note Records. Eric, thanks so much again for taking
Thank you so much.
All right.
Pleasure.